Hey everyone, welcome back to the show.
Hello, hello! We are so happy you are here today.
Alice, have you ever had to make a really important decision when you were super stressed, like your heart was beating fast and your mind was racing?
Oh, absolutely. Like trying to pick the right bus when I'm already late for an appointment, or deciding what to cook for a dinner party when I'm exhausted. Big decisions, small decisions, stress makes everything feel harder.
It truly does. And today, we're going to dive into how stress actually affects our judgment. Do we make better choices or worse ones when we're under pressure?
That's a fascinating question. I always thought stress just made me mess up.
Well, it's more complex than you might think. We'll explore some interesting research on this topic. Today's episode is all about understanding how our brains work under pressure and how that can impact our decisions, from everyday choices to more serious ones.
So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed or wondered why you reacted a certain way under stress, this episode is for you. No pressure, just listen and learn with us.
Here is what we will do today. In Part 1, we'll read a passage about stress and judgment. In Part 2, we'll go over 8 key reading skills to help you understand complex texts like this. In Part 3, we'll do a quick review of those skills. And in Part 4, we'll practice with some questions based on our passage.
So, reading about stress, learning skills, reviewing skills, and then practicing under pressure sounds like a full episode.
Let's start. Okay, welcome to Part 1. This is our reading passage for today, titled How Stress Affects Our Judgment.
Don't worry if the topic sounds a bit academic. We will explain everything in simple English as we go.
I will read each paragraph slowly. After each paragraph, Alice will explain the main idea in simple English, B1 or B2 level. Then we move on.
Think of it like a guided tour through the text. Ready? Let's read.
Some of the most important decisions of our lives happen when we are stressed. We often have to make choices when we feel pressure, from medical decisions to financial and professional ones. But does stress make us better or worse at using information?
Okay, so this first paragraph sets the stage. It's saying that we often make big choices when we're feeling stressed or anxious. The main question the author wants to answer is, does stress help us make better decisions, or does it make us worse at using information? That's the big question the article will try to answer.
The word judgment here means our ability to make good decisions or form sensible opinions. So, how stress affects our judgment means how stress changes our ability to make good choices.
Judgment. Making good choices. Say it with me. Judgment.
My colleague and I, both brain scientists, wanted to study how the mind works under stress. We visited local fire stations. Firefighters have some relaxed days, but also many very busy days dealing with life-threatening emergencies. These changes in their work were perfect for our study on how people's ability to use information changes when they feel under pressure.
Great. Paragraph B tells us about the scientists and their study. They are brain scientists, and they wanted to see how our minds react to stress. They chose firefighters for their study because firefighters have days with no stress and days with a lot of stress, so it was a good way to see the effects of pressure.
Neuroscientists are brain scientists, and hectic means very busy and full of activity, so firefighters can have hectic days.
Imagine having a job where one day you're cooking and the next you're saving lives. That's quite a range of stress levels. So, quick recap before we move on. Paragraph A introduced the big question: how does stress affect our judgment? Paragraph B, which we just read, introduced the scientists and their study with firefighters.
We found that when firefighters felt threatened, their stress reaction actually helped them process information more easily. But this only happened when the information was bad news.
Okay, so the first result of the study, the scientists found that stress can actually make firefighters better at handling information. But there's a catch. It only works if the information is bad news. So stress helps them deal with negative information, not just any information.
Perceived threat means when someone feels like they are in danger, even if the danger isn't real. And conveyed means delivered or communicated. So conveyed bad news means it delivered bad news.
We asked firefighters to guess how likely they were to experience bad events in their life, like an accident. Then we gave them either good news, that their likelihood of experiencing these events was lower than they'd thought, or bad news, that it was higher, and asked them to guess again.
This paragraph explains how the scientists tested their idea. They asked firefighters to estimate or guess how probable it was that bad things would happen to them. Then the scientists gave them feedback, either good news, saying the chance was lower, or bad news, saying the chance was higher. And they checked if the firefighters changed their original guesses.
Adverse events means bad or harmful events, and likelihood means the probability or chance of something happening.
Normally, people are optimistic. They ignore bad news and love good news. This happened when the firefighters were relaxed, but when they were stressed, they paid much more attention to bad news, even if it wasn't about their job. Good news, however, did not change how they responded.
This is a key finding. When the firefighters were relaxed, they acted like most people. They were optimistic, meaning they hoped for the best. They paid little attention to bad news and loved good news. But when they were stressed, they became hyper-vigilant, meaning they paid very close attention to bad news, even things unrelated to their dangerous job, like card fraud. But stress didn't change how they reacted to good news.
Optimistic means expecting the best or hoping for positive outcomes. Hypervigilant means extremely watchful and alert to danger.
Quick question for you. Just have a think. If a relaxed firefighter heard they had a lower chance of an accident, would they pay a lot of attention to that news?
Yes, because when relaxed, they embrace good news. If you got that right, nice one. We saw the same results with students in our lab. When they were told they had to give a surprise public speech, they became stressed. Their stress hormones went up, and they became better at processing worrying information, even if it was not related to the speech.
So the researchers repeated the experiment with students. They made the students stressed by telling them they had to give a surprise public speech. And what happened? The students showed the same pattern as the firefighters. Their stress levels increased, and they became better at processing information that caused worry, even if it had nothing to do with their speech.
Cortisol levels spiked means their stress hormones went up very quickly. Alarming information means worrying or frightening information.
When we are stressed, our body changes. We start to focus on what could go wrong. Our brain shows a switch that helps us learn from warning signs, like a scared face.
This paragraph talks about what happens inside our bodies and brains. When we're stressed, our body has a physical reaction, a physiological change. It makes us focus on potential problems. Our brain has a special switch that turns on to help us quickly learn from warning signals. For example, if we see someone looking afraid.
Physiological change means a change in how our body works, and a neural signal is a message sent by nerve cells in the brain.
This brain switch might have helped early humans survive. If they were in danger, it helped them learn about dangers quickly. But in a safe place, it would be a waste of energy to be always alert. So this switch helps us turn on our warning system. People with depression or anxiety, however, sometimes cannot turn off this negative focus.
This paragraph explains the purpose of this brain switch. It probably helped our ancestors, early humans, survive when they faced dangers like hungry animals. It helped them quickly learn about hazards or dangers. But we can't be on high alert all the time, so this switch helps our brain adapt. However, the author mentions that people with conditions like depression and anxiety might have trouble turning off this constant negative focus.
Prehistoric humans means very early humans who lived before written history. Hazards are dangers or risks. Stress can spread quickly from person to person. We don't even need to be in the same room. For example, on social media, if we see positive posts, we post positive things. If we see negative posts, we post negative things. Checking your phone often is also linked to stress. Our ancient body reactions, meant for avoiding predators, are now triggered by online posts. Social media can make your heart beat faster and make you sweat.
This part talks about how stress is contagious. It can spread easily. Even without being physically together, emotions can influence us. Social media is a big example. If your feed is positive, you post positive things. If it's negative, you post negative things. The author also says that constantly checking our phones is linked to stress. Our bodies have old reactions, like for running from famished predators, hungry animals, but now even an online post can trigger these strong physical reactions.
Contagious means able to spread from one person to another, like a disease. Predators are animals that hunt and kill other animals for food.
Because stress makes us focus on bad news and spreads quickly, it can create a collective fear that is not always reasonable. After a big event like a natural disaster, alarming news spreads, making us feel more danger than there really is. This makes stress spread even more. So people might cancel trips or sell stocks, even if it's not the best decision.
This paragraph explains the big problem with stress spreading. When we combine stress, our focus on bad news, and how quickly it spreads, it can create collective fear, a fear shared by many people that isn't always justified or reasonable. After big public events, like a natural disaster, lots of worrying information spreads, making people feel danger is bigger than it actually is. This can lead to bad decisions, like canceling trips or selling investments, even when it's not necessary.
Collective fear means a fear that is felt by many people in a group, and justified means having a good reason or being reasonable.
The good news is that positive feelings, like hope, can also spread. They can make people act to find solutions. If we understand how emotions affect how we use information, we can share messages more effectively and help make positive changes.
Finally, some good news. This paragraph reminds us that positive emotions, like hope, are also contagious. They can spread too. And these positive feelings can encourage people to take action and find solutions to problems. By understanding this link between emotions and information, we can choose to share messages that help create positive change in the world.
Inducing means making something happen, so positive emotions can induce people to act. Conscientious agents of change means people who carefully and responsibly work to make things better.
Okay, that is the full passage, 11 paragraphs. Let's quickly remember the main points in case your mind wandered anywhere along the way.
Paragraph A, the main question, stress, good or bad for judgment. Paragraph B, the study with firefighters. Paragraph C, stress helps process bad news. Paragraph D, how they tested it, likelihood of bad events. Paragraph E, relaxed versus stressed reactions to news. Paragraph F, same pattern with students. Paragraph G, brain's switch focuses on warnings. Paragraph H, evolution and how anxiety affects this switch. Paragraph I, stress spreads, especially on social media. Paragraph J, collective fear and bad decisions. And paragraph K, good news, hope also spreads, leading to solutions.
So, that was our reading passage. How did you feel? Did you catch most of it?
If you didn't catch everything, that is completely normal, especially if you were half listening while doing something else. The goal was never to understand every single word. The goal was just to get the general shape of each paragraph and the main ideas.
Main question, firefighter study, how stress affects bad news, brain switch, social media, collective fear, and finally hope. If you remember those key points, you have already done something very useful.
And now, we are going to learn the 8 skills that help you read any passage like this faster and more confidently. Let's go to part 2.
Welcome to part 2. This is the main part of today's episode, the 8 reading skills.
8 skills you can use in your next IELTS exam, or even in everyday English reading. Are you ready?
Let's begin.
Let's begin with skill 1.
Okay, skill number 1, David.
Skill number 1. Skim the whole passage first before you read carefully.
Skim? You mean read it super fast?
Yes, very fast. Don't stop for difficult words. Just get the general idea of each paragraph.
So for our stress passage, what's the general idea?
Paragraph A introduces the big question. Paragraph B introduces the study. Paragraph C gives the first result, and so on.
Oh, so it's basically the main points we just reviewed. Question, study, results, brain, social media, hope. That's the shape.
Exactly. And once you know that shape, finding answers becomes much faster.
Why does that help so much?
Because if a question asks about the brain's switch, you already know that's probably in paragraph G or H. You don't need to search the whole text.
That makes a lot of sense. I always used to read the whole thing first, word by word. No more.
Here is a tip. When you skim, only read the first sentence of each paragraph. That sentence usually tells you what the paragraph is about.
Say this with me. Skim first.
Skill number 2. Always read the questions first before you scan for answers.
Wait, isn't that obvious? I mean, who wouldn't?
You'd think so, but many students start reading the passage in detail before they even know what they're looking for. They're just reading to understand everything.
Ah, so they waste time reading things they don't need, or getting lost in details.
Exactly. If the question asks about firefighters' response to bad news, you already know which words to look for and which paragraphs to focus on.
So the question guides the reading, not the other way around.
Perfectly said. The question is your map. Read the map before you start walking.
The question is your map. Say it with me. The question is your map. Okay, skill 3. I'm getting good at this.
Scan for keywords. Don't read every word. Let your eyes jump to the important ones.
What counts as a keyword in a passage like today's, which has a lot of abstract ideas?
Names, numbers, dates, and unusual words. For example, in our passage, firefighters, students, social media, or specific terms like cortisol levels or neural switch.
So if a question asks about students, I just scan for that word?
Exactly. Your eyes move down the page quickly, like a camera, looking for the important things.
Like a camera. My eyes are a camera. I love that.
Even in an abstract text, proper nouns or more specific scientific terms often act as excellent keywords.
All right, quick pit stop. So far, we've got skim first, questions are your map, and now eyes like a camera for keywords. 3 down, 5 to go. This is making sense.
Skill 4 is a really useful one. Watch for paraphrasing.
What do you mean by paraphrasing? Is it just synonyms?
It's more than just synonyms. The question will almost never use the exact same words or sentence structure as the passage. It will use different words or phrases that mean the same thing.
Can you give me an example from our stress passage?
Sure. The passage says, some of the most important decisions of our lives happen when we are stressed. A question might say, we often make significant choices during periods of high pressure.
Oh, important decisions becomes significant choices, and stressed becomes periods of high pressure. It's the same idea, but completely rephrased.
Exactly. Same meaning, different words and structure.
That sounds hard. It's not just one word.
It gets easier with practice, honestly. The skill is simply, don't look for the same words, look for the same meaning, the same idea, even if it's expressed differently.
Say that again, David. I want to remember it.
Don't look for the same words, look for the same meaning.
Don't look for the same words, look for the same meaning. Say it with me. Skill 5.
Find the topic sentence. Usually, the first sentence of a paragraph tells you what the whole paragraph is about.
So in paragraph I, the first sentence says, stress can spread quickly from person to person.
Right. So immediately, you know, this paragraph is about how stress is contagious, how it passes from one person to another.
So I don't need to read the whole paragraph carefully unless the question is about how stress spreads.
Exactly right. The topic sentence is like a sign on a door. It tells you what is inside before you open the door.
Let's practice. Listen to this first sentence. What is the paragraph about?
We saw the same results with students in our lab.
The paragraph is about the study with students. That is paragraph F. Did you get it right?
Skill 6 is the one that trips learners up the most, but it's really just a small logic puzzle. True, false, not given questions.
Oh no, this one always confuses me, especially not given.
Everyone does it first. Here is the key difference. True means the passage says the same thing as the statement. False means the passage says the opposite. Not given means the passage simply does not mention it at all. There's no information about it.
So, not given does not mean false. It just means the passage is silent, no information. The author doesn't give us any clues.
Exactly. The passage is silent. Say it with me. The passage is silent.
And here's a little trick this question type likes to play. Sometimes the statement uses extreme words like all, every, always, or only. But the passage only talks about some or usually. That's often a false answer. The statement went too far.
Ooh, so watch out for words like all, every, always, never, only. Good tip.
Okay, let me test you. Here is a statement. The brain's switch always helps us learn about dangers. The passage says the switch helps us learn, but it also says it turns on or off depending on the environment. So always is too strong. That is false because the passage implies it's not always on.
Correct. Now try this one. The study showed that stress makes people ignore all good news.
The passage says stress didn't change how they responded to good news. It doesn't say they ignored it, just that their reaction didn't change. And it definitely doesn't say all good news. So the answer is not given. The passage doesn't give enough information to say they ignore all good news.
Perfect. You just used skill 6 correctly. It's all about checking what the passage actually says.
Skill 7?
Manage your time. If one question is taking too long, skip it and come back later.
But isn't it bad to leave a question unanswered? My brain tells me I must solve it now.
It's worse to spend 5 minutes on one hard question and lose time for 5 easy ones. You have limited time, so use it wisely.
Oh, so one hard question can cost you many easy points. That's a good way to look at it.
Exactly. Always guess something, mark it, and move on. You can come back at the end if you have time.
A good rule of thumb, roughly 1.5 minutes per question. If you're still stuck after that, move on and come back later. Don't let one tricky question make you stressed.
And our last skill, skill 8, guess unknown words from context. You will never know every word in an English text, and that is completely normal.
Oh, that is so good to hear. I always get stuck on a new word.
For example, imagine you don't know the word physiological in our passage, but the sentence talks about our body changes and focus on what could go wrong.
So I can guess physiological must be something related to how our body works or changes. I don't need the exact definition. I just need enough to understand the main idea and answer the question.
Exactly. Context is the words around the unknown word. Use those words as clues.
Say this with me. Use context clues.
And that is skill 8, and all 8 skills done.
Wow, 8 skills. That was a lot. But I feel much more confident now about tackling a reading passage.
You should. These are real practical skills that every good IELTS reader uses. They help you navigate texts, even when you're feeling a bit stressed.
And the important thing is, these skills work together. Skim, read the questions, scan for keywords, paraphrasing, topic sentence, true, false, not given, time management, context clues. They are a team.
All 8 working together. Let's go review them quickly. Welcome to part 3. Quick review, no pressure, just a fun recap. I will quiz Alice on the skills, and you can try to answer along with her. Ready?
Ready. I will remember all 8 this time. Watch me.
Okay, Alice, I'm going to quiz you. Skill 1. What do we do first?
Read every single word very carefully and look up all the new vocabulary?
No, that's the opposite. Skim first. Get the big picture.
Right. Skim first. I knew that. Just warming up.
Okay, skill 2. Before you scan for answers, what should you always do?
Read the questions first. The question is your map.
Excellent. And skill 3, when you're looking for information, should you read full sentences?
No, scan for keywords, like a camera.
Perfect. Now for a tricky one. Skill 4, when the question uses different words from the passage, what is that called?
Oh, that's paraphrasing. Look for the same meaning, not the same words.
Spot on. You're really getting this. Now for the rest, let's see how fast you can list them.
Okay, skill 5, find the topic sentence. Skill 6, handle true, false, not given carefully. Skill 7, manage your time. And skill 8, guess unknown words from context. 8 skills. I think I got them all this time.
Well, almost. You nearly said read every word at the start.
That one doesn't count. I was warming up.
Now, if you feel like it, try saying all 8 out loud yourself. No pressure, even remembering 4 or 5 is great.
However you did, that is genuine progress.
8 skills reviewed, quickly and clearly.
Remember, you don't need to memorize the names. You need to do them. Skills are actions, not words.
Now, the most important part, putting the skills into action. Let's go to part 4. Welcome to part 4, practice time. We are going to use our passage about how stress affects our judgment. Remember the one about the study with firefighters and students and how stress spreads? And I will ask you some real exam-style questions.
Try to answer before we give you the answer if you can. Say it out loud if you like. No pressure though. Just listening carefully works too.
After each question, we'll pause. Then we'll go back to the passage, look at the exact line, and explain the answer. Let's start with a multiple-choice question. Question 1. What point does the writer make about firefighters in the second